Ah, yes, looks like another lovely, cloudy, potentially rainy day. Which, by the way, good evening, or night, or morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. I know it's been about a year, maybe a little over a year, since I have made a single video. There's a couple reasons why, and I kind of wanted to go over that today, as well as, well, kind of a few statuses on what I'm doing with this, what I'm going to be doing with this project, because things have changed a pretty good bit, I would say, in my mind, as to what I'm going to kind of do. And I want to explain a couple things that I have not updated you all on involving this project, this channel, and what all has happened to me as far as the year off goes. So I'm going to get the obvious news out of the way, and that is that also hope you all like my new hat. The obvious news is that, well, 2020 was a difficult year for anybody and everybody, to say the least. If you go out and make content, well, a lot of events and stuff were closed, didn't exist, didn't happen, whatever, for the whole year, because of, you know, the pandemic. So that was one thing going against me. But you say I could still probably worked on things, bought things, or did little things with the cars, maybe drove around, maybe met with friends I knew that were clear of the virus, whatever. I could have done stuff like that, you say. And I could have, but there's kind of a caveat there as well. And that leads into why the airbag is deployed. So I was working on this car one evening, just kind of looking at it, starting up, messing around with it. And I had several beers that were pretty high octane. You probably already know where this is going. So me and my buddy that were looking at it, we decided, we decided to go just joyride it up the road and back. And on the way back up the road here, it wasn't on the main road, it was on our little, it was bad enough, it's still, you know, it doesn't excuse it, it's still not a good idea. Shouldn't have gotten behind a wheel of anything with alcohol in my system. It's excuseless, but it was, you know, at least it wasn't as bad as it could have been for several reasons. Went off the road up here, straight off into like all the tall grass, dirt, and all that. I did kind of take out a power pole. I had to pay for that, amongst many other things in this ordeal. So funds for car stuff, yeah, no. So I didn't have my license, and that was another restriction that was going against me. I did get like a temporary driving privilege. That only goes so far. But basically, if I was outside of my jurisdiction, outside of certain times, if I was caught, then yeah, it would be even worse, penalties and stuff. So couldn't do anything because I didn't have a license. Because I made a stupid move. I made a stupid move, and let my lesson be everybody else's lesson. Just refrain from doing it. But you know, we all make mistakes. We're all human. And it was a really, really, really dumb choice, to say the least. I could have wound up dead. My friend could have wound up dead. This car had like the driver's seat. He was on the floor. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been absolutely worse. That's the simplest thing that I know, the way that I know to put that bit of bad news. So yeah, basically smashed this car. It even got towed, so I had to pay a towing fee to get it back and all this. It was an absolute high octane mess. So that brings me to this project, the news of this project. Let me show you all something as part of the accident, and I think this is, I don't know, I have no way of proving it, but I think this might have contributed to why I crashed, because before crashing I went off the road in a turn, and I was making a turn, but it was like the car didn't turn. I feel like this probably like bent and snapped, or was bent and getting ready to snap, and probably snapped as I went into that turn. And like, just, I feel like this was already just messing up before that probably, and that's why I went off the road. The alcohol certainly didn't help. I'm not making any excuses for myself. I'm just throwing this into the pile of mess that was this whole thing. But yeah, so you see how that's all sheared off, bent, and snapped, and it's, yeah, so that's toast. I would need to get that whole thing replaced, and I would figure that while I was doing that I would just, I don't know, replace that whole suspension with like something that's more race ready for when I actually start building on the project and all. But I've kind of come to, I think I've come to a better conclusion, or a different conclusion, and I think it is that I kind of want to give up on this chassis, because there's so many things going on with it. Because now there's this where I smashed into it, into the power pole. That's all bent. Yeah, there's always been this from where the previous owner had someone smash into their rear end. It's a little cold, so forgive me if I sound a little weird. So yeah, there's always been this, and like, I could like spend a bunch of time trying to like smash this back out and get it kind of straightened back out and all. It's a lot of work, and it's not that I wouldn't be willing to do it, but then there's the potential that it really would never like straighten out to a decent degree, or maybe even it'd break off, or it just wouldn't even, just look how badly warped and damaged it is. So I kind of feel like no matter how much I'd work with it, I probably wouldn't really get this to a serviceable thing. I don't know, the more and more I look at it and think about it, I feel like this chassis is just kind of toast. I don't feel like I don't want to work on this project with this chassis. That said, I think I want to take the engine, because the engine is still perfectly good. I have to work with it to get it to start up. Like, I have to charge the battery and stuff for quite a while. I think the alternator might be dusted. Don't really know. But after I work with it for a little bit, I can get it to start up. So the engine still runs. It's still good. So I want to still work with the engine. I want to take the engine and the transmission, all that good stuff. I want to take that off of this car. I want to put it on something else, something, I don't know, much more wild, crazy, or whatever. I'm still trying to decide what, because I'm forever indecisive on things. I have a few ideas, okay? Don't get me wrong. I do have a few ideas what I'd like to try, but it's a matter of me making up my mind and finding the right price for it, because I don't need I just need a rolling chassis basically of one of the other cars. I don't need it to have an engine or transmission in it if I'm taking that from here. So that would drive down the price as well, because that's all I need is the chassis. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video because it's been a year. It's been a year since I've made a video, and I do want to continue doing this, but I ended up putting my YouTube on the back burner. Oh, and another thing is I have a new job now, so I have actual time off, like natural weekend time off. I don't have to put in, you know, weeks, months, whatever in advance and try to plan around this weird 7 days all the time culture. I don't mind working hard, but 7 days all the time was getting old. So I did get a new job. It's a lot better in terms of scheduling. At the end of the day, a job is still a job. It's a means to make money to support your life, right? And that's what I've got. I've got another job that I can support my life, but it doesn't take my life from me completely. I mean, the other job was good money, but if I was going to create things and try to do anything, not even just this, but anything with my life, I figured I needed a better job that would allow me to more easily schedule things for my life, for my personal life, you know. So that's why I made the decision to jump ship on that job and go to the new one that I have now. Yeah, my benefits haven't suffered or anything, and at the time that I switched over, the pay really wasn't going to be much less per hour than what I was making. So things have changed, though. I hear that the other place has kind of gone up on their rate now, but such is life, right? I'm just kind of glad to be more freed up now to do things with my personal life a little bit more easily. So with the days that I have off, they're the typical days that if there is a drag race or car show, that would be the day that it's on. If I learn about one ahead of time, I can take that day off, use some hours and take that day off and be good, you know. So I don't know how obvious it is, but it is the next day, and I don't know whether or not I kept the bit I was just saying in the last part or not, but if I have, then this part's completely unnecessary. But if I haven't, like I said, I would like to introduce somebody very special to me, and like, I don't want this to become like the focal point of the whole channel or anything like that, like, oh, you know, like it's some big deal, because I mean, while yes, like, who, you know, someone loves is a big deal and all that, but it's not like the big deal that a lot of people like to make out. Like, to me it isn't. But everybody say hi. Hello. Yes, that is correct. So I'm in a little known fact about me, because I decide just, it's not like a closeted thing. It's just, to me, it's not something that has to be like broadly announced with every breath that someone takes necessarily, their orientation. But yes, I identify as bisexual, and this is my current love interest. Very wonderful guy, Jared. So yeah, it's I think honestly he's helped me in a lot of ways make it through the past crazy year of 2020, and we're going into our second year here, 2021, and I feel like being able to go forward in all these adventures and stuff and all, like, I think he'll be wonderful. Like, just being with him, it's opened up my family space so much more again, and in different directions and all, I feel like. So there's a lot more, and I think eventually I might even do like separate different YouTube channels doing different things and all, but yeah, just expect to see him around quite a bit. But yeah, what I'm talking about, like not wanting to be the big deal thing, is like, oh, it's a, you know, this is another gay YouTuber. I don't want that to be necessarily the focal point. I'm just another guy. I'm just another person living their life. That's it. And this is, YouTube is my hobby that I enjoy. So here's hoping, you know, to like some awesome adventures going forward and all. But right now, we're gonna go get some food, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. So if you all, you know, if you go back, look at all my content, or even if you like this chitter chattery more or less video, be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notifications. You know, all the good YouTube jargon stuff. You all know the routine. You know how it goes. But yeah, anybody who does watch, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. I have no damn idea what I'm going to do next.